Good morning, Patriots. JT here, Serenity Farms prepping. Made a couple videos in the last few days, but every time I get ready to download it and post it, seems like something a little more important pops up, and I feel like I should make a video about that, and then I don't get to download it, something else comes up. So this one, which I hope to download in a couple hours, is, have you noticed that the great scam demic isn't turning out like they thought it would? What do I mean by that? Yeah, they got to institute a lot of crap during the fake lockdowns. That was the object of the entire thing. I don't think it was this. Depending on who you listen to, approximately 5 billion people out of 8 billion worldwide did the deed. I don't know. I know, regardless of the numbers, I'm in the not group and will stay that way. Now let's go with the number 5 billion. It is now estimated that approximately 85% of those things were nothing. What do I mean by nothing? I mean a little salt, a little water, nothing. Don't know. But I follow numbers that we are getting through patriotic people. Alright, so 5 billion is approximately 2/3 of 8 billion. Okay, half, 50%, would be 4 billion. So say 5 or 6, but they said 5. So if 85% of 5 billion got diddly squiddly, 50% of that would be 2.5. 85 would be 3.5 billion. Got diddly squiddly out of 5. That's 1.5 billion people, approximately. That very likely. Now, according to some numbers I saw this morning, approximately 30 million have already met their maker. And they believe that to be a good guesstimate, but probably 25 to 40% low, which would put it 45 or 50 mil. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that's a drop in the bucket. 50 mil would be 1/6 of the entire U.S. population, almost 1/7. We got 330 million legal Americans. Doesn't matter how many illegals are here, they don't have to follow the same rules. So they didn't need the thing. But in the grand scheme, worldwide, 30 to 50 million is a drop in the bucket, not to minimize a single expiration. But that wasn't the plan. So why aren't 100% of the 85% of the world's population gone to see the big guy? What went wrong? If you listen to the Tards cultist White Knight group, by Trump pushing so hard and rushing it out, he saved millions and millions and billions of lives because they had to put a product out that wasn't ready to go, but they knew what was coming down, so they rushed it all out anyway, and whoever went away was good enough. Not good enough, but they'll take it. Did they know if someone who did the thing would share that with lots of other people? I would think that they did. In my mind, that was why it didn't appear to me that they cared that they had to rush it out if they did. Because they knew that somebody with the thing would share it with everyone they came in contact with. What they might not have known is, would it affect the person who was shared with as much as the person who got it? If you were sickly, overweight, any number of other issues already, maybe. But then people like me and lots of you, no. Not saying it isn't at all, but not to the extent that they need it. Which leads me to, that's why they're talking about so many other possible, terrible, total annihilation of the human race stuff that could come out this summer. There is virtually nothing man-made. The natural stuff has to be doctored. They make it to infect all through history. Go back as far as you can find documentation, and you will find every time the tyrants, the regime, the dictators, the overlords in charge, what we've experienced in the last 3+ years has happened repeatedly throughout history. Tyrants have a plan. They want to enslave the people. They don't want too many people. So they start implementing more and more dictatorial, tyrannical crap. People have always had one form or another of a way to defend themselves against the tyranny. Whatever tools the dictators, the overlords, the tyrants had, the people also had those back in the day. Obviously, as modern times have come around and technology, there are tools of war and then there are tools of self-defense. We don't have the tools of war. But through time, as the people started to wake up and rebel against all tyranny that was happening to them, as they were being enslaved, lost all their rights, their freedoms, blah, 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 everything we see happening the last 3 years, they started to rebel. And then literally every time throughout history, up came a great plague or scamorama demic of some kind and wiped out or almost totally wiped out the people rebelling. Now, it wasn't always something in the air. As we know, there was a great potato famine that wiped out millions and millions. There's been other blights, and I'm not saying those were naturally occurring incidents. I don't know. All I know is that one way or another, every time the people throughout history, every couple thousand years, woke up, shit happened. It's no different this time. What they wanted to do hasn't worked. Not to the extent that they want or need, which is why they're talking about everything else. Only some new disease or something is what gets them everything else they're going for. Because no matter what else they do, there's still too many of us. No, not about the climate change hoax. That's just another angle they're using to try and implement rules. No, there's just too many of us. They can't fight us all the way they want to. Yeah, they all have armies that they could try and force upon the people, but the majority of soldiers in every country are not going to do it against their own people. And they know it. So they don't know what to do. So they have no choice but to fearmonger, promote more mass hysteria, to come out with something else that will wipe out 90% of the population. Doesn't that number ring a bell? So, if you live in a cesspool shithole city, of course they're going to dispense it through fleas or ticks or mosquitoes or aerosols, which means subway systems, ventilation systems, air conditioning systems, blah, 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 everything that cesspool shithole cities have. Because to get maximum fear and hysteria, you hit an area with 10 to 15 million people within 5 blocks or so. And then the rest of the country loses their minds. Well, the sheeple tarred idiots do. Keep your head on a swivel. We don't have much longer. I know that sounds like a broken record, but in the context of everything, not much longer. Take it for what it's worth. Listen or don't listen. Prepare or don't prepare. Stay where the hell you are or move. I ain't got time to worry about everybody else. All right? JT signing off. www.storagechef.com SFP15. Regardless if you're going to stay where you are and take your chances or get out of Dodge, you gotta eat. All right. JT.